What's up, everybody? How you doing? Welcome to another episode of the PW Podcast, or Videocast if you're watching this on YouTube. Links in the show notes for both. Now, in this episode, I'm going to talk about some interesting learning experiences I've had making a course. I'm actually making a course for teaching people how to make an endless runner 2D game in the Godot game engine. Don't worry if none of that means anything to you. If it does, hey, there's a link in the show notes for that as well. Now, the interesting thing here is when you are recording a course, a series of videos, in this case for someone, or hopefully many people, it becomes a very interesting situation because I find the courses that work best for me are ones that feel natural, as if someone's sitting there teaching them to me, but they also have this feeling of continuity and consistency to them, which is actually very hard to achieve, especially on something technical like coding and game making and software and all that kind of thing. Now, the part of recording the screen and getting good audio and all those kind of things, very simple, very straightforward. The problem becomes with the consistency of it, and also that thing that developers know only too well, that it all goes great until you're going to show somebody else and then it falls apart. Now, what I mean by that is, one of the things I notice a lot, and maybe this is just me because I make content, or maybe this is other people as well, but if I watch one video and then the next video starts and the screen, whatever it is on the screen, looks very different. The screen colors could be different. If it's someone talking, they could be wearing different clothes, but it's meant to be like continuous speech or something like that. I notice these things. And as soon as I notice them, I'm now focusing on that instead of the content that they're trying to deliver to me. So one of the things I always do is I'm big on consistency with that. And this comes from this obsession, I guess, maybe an unhealthy, unnecessary obsession of just trying to get that right. Because I try to do everything in one take, just like these videos. Because as soon as you start doing multiple takes, you're going to hit this problem, right? Next thing you know, you've got that thing where people's heads are doing this and jumping around, or the cursor's in a different place and code's jumping around, all sorts of things. Windows have moved, whatever it may be, right? Whatever you're recording, the background has changed. If you're on an outside shot, the lighting has changed, the sky has changed, it's cloudy, then it's clear, whatever. People notice these things, and even if it's just a subconscious thing, and it takes them out of that mindset of receiving the content, and now they're thinking about what just changed, right? So I'm saying all of this to say that this is what makes making courses like this hard, because naturally you cannot record a series of videos that could all add up to be a good few hours in length for the entire course. You realistically, you just can't do them all in one day, right? Because there's going to be retakes, there's going to be things that come up. You may be recording at home and a truck goes by outside, their phone rings, all those kind of things. For me, it's almost always I get some notification and you get that little ding. And then the next thing you know, if you're watching someone's video, you're like, is that my phone? Is it their phone? All those kind of things. So you have to be very disciplined when you are making these videos for courses or just a series of videos. I'm no expert. This is just my opinions. I have made video courses before, but I never published them because they just something about them didn't feel right. But this time around, because it was requested by some YouTube followers and that, it was like, I'm going to go through and complete this and do that. Now, another aspect of this that's important is whatever your subject matter is you're talking about, you have to, I don't want to say be an expert, but you have to come across as an authority, because whether it's free or especially if you're doing a paid course, you want people to feel like they are learning from someone who knows what they're talking about. This is the same for me. When I'm viewing someone's course, I want to feel confident that what they're telling me, they really know their stuff, okay? You don't have to be an expert. You don't have to know everything, but you do have to know what you're talking about and make it sound convincing. You cannot fake it and get away with it, is what I'm saying. Now, for example, if you're doing a technical thing like I am, you can't read about something and then 10 minutes later go make a video and make it sound convincing. that you've been doing this a while, right? It's just not going to work. People pick up on these things. And you cannot convince people to believe what you're telling them and trying to teach them and why you're teaching them this and why you're doing it like that if it doesn't sound convincing. And I don't mean try and fake it. That is not what I mean at all. What I mean is know your material. I am not one for pre-scripting things because I think about things ahead of time. Like this video, for example, and in my head, I've got a format and I know how this is going to go, I think, right? Because as soon as I've said this before, as soon as I do a script, it sounds like I'm reading a script, even if it's just a series of notes to prompt me. And you've seen this with other folks, and I'm sure you've picked up on this. I like I say, that natural feeling, like it's me one-on-one with someone watching the videos or listening to a podcast or something like that. I'm talking to you, that one person out there, okay? Now, these are just some tips for you all. It is interesting and it's very hard because even if you get all of that right, like I say, there's always those things that just come up to get you, okay? And for me right now, I'm pretty well into making the videos, which is fantastic. But part of the thing that comes with that is naturally I got to put the course material together. You don't just put a video up on the screen with no explanation or no notes or anything like that. And that's where it gets tricky because what I'm trying to do is break down a complicated subject. In this case, my goal here, my aim is for folks who don't know anything at all about it. Maybe they've never made a game. They've never written a line of code, anything like that. And I want them to be able to get into it, understand it, and walk away thinking I can go make this now. And taking complex subjects and making them simple is very hard. But it's something that I like to do, and it's a goal that I have, and I hope that I achieve it. People tell me I do. I believe them, and I try very hard to do that, so thank you to you all for the feedback, because it's important. No matter what your level of experience is, you don't want to sound like you're talking down to people, and you're squarely aiming at the audience that you want and helping to pick them up and move them along. So all of these make courses very difficult, but it's a lot of fun because the other side is it tests you that you know what you're talking about, right? That you are a subject matter expert on whatever it is you're talking about and that you know it well enough that you can somehow convey it to somebody else, which is really exciting because it's validation for all the hard effort and all the learning that you put in. Okay, there is a lot of fun aspect to it as well. And I like the editing process and all of those kind of things as well. So I just wanted to put those out there as some thoughts in this episode to share with you all. If you've ever thought about making a course on something, I really urge you to try. Okay, you may not succeed, but go try. Go and try and do it. I'm sure you can. And even if you try it and you don't put it out there for folks, keep going. Because everything you do is practice, right? It's all practice. And the more you do it, the more natural it's going to feel and the better it's going to be. So maybe your first course won't be the greatest thing in the world. But your second course, your fifth course, whatever it may be, will be, right? Just like everything else. Writing, songs, taking pictures, painting, all these things. The more you practice, the better it is, okay? Love to hear your thoughts on this. Reach out to me, peterwhittam.com. There's a link in the show notes. If you want to come on and talk about it, let's do that too, because I love to hear from other creators, especially folks who want to teach people. I love trying to share knowledge with other folks, and I like to find folks who like to do that as well and have conversations with them about it. That's it, folks. I will speak to you in the next one.